thing we're going to talk about, good morning everyone, by the way, is Flipgrid, which I know a lot of you guys hopefully have some experience with. And if not, you're about to. So basically here I have a few links here, you know, like a how-to section, getting started guide that we shared before, a bunch of, you know, me, I always go overboard, tech integration ideas. Basically, Flipgrid has their own tech integration ideas by grade level or by specialty, like fine arts, etc. They have a section for remote learning ideas, and then Matt Miller, Ditch That Textbook, 30 plus ways to use Flipgrid in your class. And then they just have a bunch of different ideas here, like for family engagement. This one was for ELL, so you might check that out. How to go live on Flipgrid. I believe that involves using YouTube. And then Flipgrid help. So basically, I'm so sorry about that. Real quick, going to make sure that doesn't happen again. All right, so we have a presentation. So basically, here is the link. So either if you click on here, it is flipgrid.com/Carter6499, or you can use your phone or tablet or device to take a picture of this, and then it will take you to the grid. So again, if you get here, it says enter the grid password, and it is all caps YCSD1234. And basically it is just a say hello. And it says the directions are here. Welcome to Flipgrid. Tap the green plus sign below to open the Flipgrid camera, then record a short video and say hello and share one way you might use Flipgrid with students. And you can see that they added this immersive text reader to Flipgrid. So it'll read it to students.
Welcome to Flipgrid. Tap the green plus below to open the Flipgrid camera. Then record a short video and waving hand say hello. Lightbulb share one way you might use Flipgrid with students.
So I think that's cool. They just added that. So basically I would like you to go to, you see that there's 0 responses. I would like you to go to the plus sign. Go ahead and I'm gonna log in with my Google. And you can see I have the option to add sticky notes, or I don't think it'll let me use my camera since I'm already filming right now. But basically you go ahead and take your video, launch the app, enter the grid, click the plus sign to add your response. Go ahead and add the camera to add the video. Once you've made your little video, it only has to be a few seconds, go ahead and click the little green arrow, and then you're going to take a selfie. And then you have the option to add emojis or stickers over your face or near your face or whatever if you want to. And then go ahead and click the arrow again and enter the info to submit. So if you wanted to try that quickly, then you, oh, okay, my camera finally loaded. So you can see that I could go ahead and even while you're videotaping right now, you have the option to give yourself an emoji of your face if you're not feeling it. I can go ahead and click. There's a countdown. Hello, my name is Rachel, and I love to use Flipgrid with students to give them a creative way to respond, especially in these times. When I'm done, I can go ahead and click pause. If I wanted to add decorations or funky stuff, that's cool. And then you could see it was just listening to it. So I went ahead and clicked next. I can go ahead and take my selfie. Again, if you want to add an emoji, you know, the kids love to. There we go. I click next. And then it submits it for me. I can add a title. And then submit the video. So hopefully you guys are trying this out. While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead. Into the regular, just flipgrid.com. You can have an educator sign up here. I have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and click educator login.
Rachel, you have a question. Cheryl said, do you have the camera covered? When do you choose the emoji icon?
When the camera loaded, it took mine a couple seconds, and mine I think is covered right now. But you can see that there's my response. So far, I'm the only one that's done it. So I'll just go back through quickly. Once the camera loads, you can choose the emoji. You can see that it's loading, and it takes a second. But once it loaded down here, and I had that red record button, right above it are the emojis and then like the special effects. You can choose to click those before if you don't want your camera to see you, or to add them after or during. I mean, trust me, if you give kids the opportunity to do this, they will teach you. So you see that I'm ready to record it again. And there's a little background. I can add text. I can add emojis. So you can search for your proper mood and make it as big as you want. You can draw. You can make it a whiteboard, or you can add a photo sticker if you have a picture that you wanted to add. And that's all before you record. You can also add sticky notes. I know sometimes they do something called book snaps, which is basically where kids take a picture of the book that they're reading, and then they can use the drawing to annotate or to add a sticky note with a question about what they're reading. Are there any questions?
Heather said, how do I submit my video again?
So again, we're going to go ahead. There's the countdown to record. It's recording right now. So when I'm done, I can either pause or just go ahead and click next. And then I listen to it. When I'm ready to submit, I have to take another selfie. So go ahead and get camera ready. This is just so you can differentiate between students. Go ahead and take my picture. And then once I've done my selfie, I can click next. And it will load. And I can put my title. If I was supposed to submit a link, like say I was supposed to create something, I can add a link to whatever it is. Click submit video, and then it is done. Are there any other questions?
Not so far.
Okay. So you can see that, oh yay, there are some. Cool. So there's some different videos. Awesome. Excuse me. So once you log into Flipgrid, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to move this up. You can see that you automatically, well, the first time you're gonna have to set up a grid. So I'm gonna pretend like this is new, add a new grid. And you go ahead, a grid is like a cloth. So we can name it ELA or whatever your name, whatever. So for students that are able to enter their email, school email is usually a good choice because they join using their Google School email. If they are younger, it's always an option to give them the QR code. So if they have a device where they can take a picture, it'll take them right to it. You don't have to have a password. I just did because it was public. Otherwise, you could give them a student ID. And I believe that you have to give them, I think it's like a 4-digit code for each student. Public and PLC is public, so anyone that has the link can see it, which is what I did for you guys. Again, at this time, if they're not using their own email, they say they're on their parents' phone or whatever, that might be a good choice also. It automatically gives you the code to enter. You see mine is Carter 6191. And then I go ahead and click next. I have the option to add a password if it's public. I'm going to go ahead and go back. If it's a school email, I click next. You can see that it automatically added the way that my email ends, which is at youngstown.k12.oh.us. If I'm going to have students on here, I'm going to want to add their domain, which is at ycsd.org. So you can see that those two will be the only ones that'll be able to come in and use it. If I'm going to use the student ID, I would click in. You're going to have to add students' names. And then you have to give them a student ID. So, and then add different students that way. You can always go back and add more. If you have a CSV file, you can upload it there. So just that there are different options. I'm not saying one's right or one's wrong. Once you create it, you could see that I've created a grid. I have the option to share it right now, either Google Classroom or Remind, but there's nothing in it, so I'm not going to go ahead and share it. So I'm going to go to my grid, which is like my class, and you can see that it automatically gave me a picture here. Say that I can add a co-pilot. So I can go ahead. If I know how to spell. Sorry about that. So you can see that I have invited Andrea to be the co-pilot or co-teacher in this class. If I want to edit something, I can click the pencil and go back. All that information that I just added, say I got a new student and I was under student ID, I could add it there. You can see that students have the option to download and share. If they're younger and I don't want them to do that, I can go ahead and do that. If I want to turn on closed captioning to the video, I can do that. And then if I have my own picture, I can personalize this. Like say if you had a class picture, I could personalize the I could personalize the background. So say I liked this picture. It will make you kind of crop it to fit. Otherwise, you do have the option of all these cute little pictures down here to personalize. So say that I'm a rock climbing person, which is absolutely not true. I could choose that and update my grid, and you can see how it updates up here. Are there any questions so far?
Because when you click, go ahead.
When you click Remind App, does it send the video to everyone?
It doesn't send a video, it sends the classroom. So that would be, once I have topics down here, everyone automatically gets the Flipgrid say hello. It's like a practice thing. And then if I want to add a new topic, I can add the title. I can choose up to 10 minutes to give students and then give them directions. And then I have the option to record a video giving explanations. upload a video like I made from Screencastify, do all these other things, insert something from Google, and then I can go ahead and create the topic. Again, I have the option to share it if I want to. If I don't do it right this second, that's okay. I can go back. I didn't have a topic focus. I can always go and add a GIF or a GIF or a picture or something. Again, you just go ahead and click here. And then now once you go back in, you have the option to moderate the videos so no one can see them until you approve them. You can approve or deny student-to-student replies, et cetera, and then go ahead and update it. And then I'll go back to my grid. Just real quick. So again, the grid is the classroom, and then underneath each grid, you have assignments. If that makes any sense. If you don't want to recreate the wheel, go to the Disco library. And then you can search. I mean, there's a million things here. Your favorites will be right here where it says my faves. You can go ahead and search for the audience, grade level wise, the subject, the history for high school. And then you can see that this is the only one that is labeled in that manner. So I could go ahead and preview it and then add it and edit it. Oh, that's because I clicked parent and family instead of high school. Hello. That's much more better. So say I'm into the Black Death. That's what I'm teaching. I can go ahead and add it, and then I can edit anything that's in here as well. You can see there's a YouTube video and an assignment. So that's an option. So are there any other questions about Flipgrid?
Not so far.
I think Flipgrid's awesome because like Tiffany was saying, your students can see you, you can see them. Once you approve their videos, they can see each other, et cetera, et cetera. I know I'm kind of going over time here. So I feel bad. Okay. The next thing is quizzes, which hopefully everyone's familiar with Kahoot. This is very similar. If you go to joinmyquiz.com, actually, never mind, don't even worry about that. I'm gonna go ahead, we'll do a live one, it'll be faster. So again, if you go to quizzes.com, you can go ahead and sign up or log in if you're already using it. Awesome, it integrates with Google. You can search for anything that you might be teaching. And then again, edit any of the questions. So it is a little bit different than Kahoot because as you can see here, in Kahoot, you need to present the questions in the front, like on a projector, and then students only have answer choices. In quizzes, the kids have everything on their device. They have the question and the answer choices, and then you just have their how they're responding or their data. You have the option to play live, to assign homework, or to assign a practice. So you can share the practice link, which is what I had here. If it's the practice, they have the option to go ahead, play the quiz, play flashcards, or to challenge a friend. I think the flashcards are kind of cool because it helps them to study. So if I go ahead and click start, true or false, you need a projector to use quizzes. Hopefully we know the answer is false. And then if you know the answer, then you can click got it. Otherwise you can click needs review, and then you'll be able to do it again. Again, if you assign it as homework, so that was this. If I were to assign it as homework, this is what it would look like. I could share it right into Google Classroom there. And then, oh, that reminds me, sorry. I forgot to go back. into, I know, Cheryl, I know. So if I want to share my grid again in Flipgrid, I'm sorry, I can go right where it says share the rocket, and I can share it at any time. The same thing about, if you share the grid, then as they get new assignments, they'll pop up under the grid, or you can go ahead and hit the rocket for each assignment and go ahead and assign them. Sorry. That was like ADHD right there. So anyways, you can share the link for homework in Google Classroom, or you can go ahead and have them join here. They go at their own pace. You have the option to let them retake it or not. So we're gonna play live. And I can choose if I want it to be a test, work in teams, or to be classic, which is what I'm gonna do. If you go to joinmyquiz.com and then enter the game code 496961. It is only 6 questions. There we go. Tiffany's in. Yay. It is kind of cool because you have the option to have them join with their email, enter their own name, or if you know kids enter inappropriate names or fight over Michael Jordan or whatever it is, then it can give them anonymous, it'll automatically assign them anonymous names. So we have a few people here. I'm going to go ahead and click start. Seems really loud to me. So you can see that I have no idea which question they're on. They're going at their own pace. It just has a leaderboard that you can choose to display if you want to. And I can look and see on my own part, I can look at the question. I can see someone got this one person got it right, one got it wrong. I know one of the called EDU protocols that they recommend for this is like on, say you teach something on Monday, then you give them a quiz, and then you see what people got consistently wrong, and then reteach that, and then give them the quiz again. And generally, students like it. I mean, even as homework, they like to do it over and over and try to get everything right. So I see a couple people are almost done. Oh, another thing, after each answer, there is a meme. You can turn that option off if you don't like it, but I know some teachers make their own memes of their own face because their kids miss them. So that's also an option if you choose. And you can see my class average here. So I'm going to go ahead. Are there any other questions about, I know people are still working, but are there any other questions about quizzes?
So Nicole Davis said, this is amazing. Heather Meyer said, the only thing with quizzes is they cannot submit it after the due date unless you know how to allow that. So if they don't do it by the due date, oh, well.
Yeah, but there is a section where teachers can recommend things, and that request is on there about 30 times, no lie, and I upvoted every single one of them. So that is true. But I mean, you can always reassign. Like I said, pedagogically, it's been recommended that you have the same quiz a couple times and then reteach in between. So I'm
Jamie
gonna
said
go
this
ahead.
seems like a really cool feature.
And I like that it's almost like it's perfect. Sorry if you're not done. I'm gonna go ahead and end the game. If it was homework, you guys could keep on going. And I'm gonna leave this open if you want to go to the homework at any point. It's on the presentation, which is actually linked to the title. But it'll go at your own pace, and then you have the option to retake it. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing and let Andrea take over. Heather says the kids love it. In school, we play teams too. Oh, yes. And then even with the practice, you can see that they can challenge another student. I feel like it has the best of Kahoot, and it also has the best of Gimkit because the kids have the option to buy a power-up once they get right answers. So they can, like, I know I did one where it was like, I bought the option to win more coins if I got it right and lose more if I got it wrong.
Okay. All right, Rachel, you put this up. Is this the link for the game that I had?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure and I didn't get a chance to look at it and I'm like, okay, where did that come from?
Yep.
Okay. So, Kahoot is another game-based application. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
So if I type kahoot.com, it's coming up.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure because last week I had problems with it. So Kahoot gives the kids a chance to answer the questions on their device in either a multiple choice or a true false. And anything beyond that, they want you to upgrade it. So there's different prices for the premium packages. I've only ever used the basic package, but there's the pro package and the premium. Of course, they cost us money a month. I mean, that's totally up to you on how you see it, but I've never used anything but basic, and the kids seem to like it no matter what version you have. Some businesses, I heard this yesterday, one of my nephews was telling me that one of the businesses he was in had to take some kind of entrance exam or something to get in this course, and they used Kahoot for them to pass the course or know if they got the scores right or some kind of entrance exam. So I thought that was pretty cool. So again, you can play it at school, the kids can play it at work, or I should say the parents can play it at work, but you could play it at home. It can be teacher-led or it can be student-led. It can be assigned as a homework assignment. It's totally up to you in what you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and log in. I didn't realize I didn't do that yet. Okay. So it lets you put your name how you want it. Of course, it lets you upgrade, and it reminds you of this all the time. I have like a couple Kahoots here. So these are my sample Kahoots. And then there's a team space, but notice again, it says upgrade. So if you're collaborating with someone, it's not going to work. If you would like to try it out, I do believe I have one set up. You can go ahead and scan the QR code. To log yourself in.
That is not working for me.
I see that. I just tried it myself. Okay, let's try. I have it a different way. I do have a link. So if we copy this.
Can you stick it in the chat?
Yep, I'm going to. I'm trying to get there. You know, that little lovely toolbar keeps popping down. Having technical difficulties on this end. Rachel, can you get to my document and put it in the chat? I don't even see the chat on my screen right now.
Done.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Then it wants you to put your own name or nickname. So that's totally up to you. You can,
I fixed the QR code, by the way.
okay, thanks. Now they're saying what you can do is minimize the screen and then pull up the questions at the same time. I'm gonna stop mine because that music can be annoying. But I do believe you could still, and it's telling me that there's 2 plays going on right now. And there's only 4 questions, I believe.
I was doing this in technology integration, and it was all like Google questions. And the Google questions just kept repeating. You had a X amount of time, and the questions just kept repeating, so you could earn more and more points.
I think that was the GimKit, though.
That's
Oh, was that the
GimKit.
GimKit? Oh, I really
That's
like that.
GimKit.
I really like that you could do that over there compared to this.
Right. This, you answer it and then you're done. Yeah, GimKit just kept repeating, and it depends on like the money amount of limits you put on there. It was kind of funny because I was like, it was like $10,000 was my limit. I'm like, this is crazy. So notice like on my reports, it says it's in challenge mode, which means I assigned it. And I think my cutoff is like 10:45 today or 11 o'clock. I'm not sure. Oh, on this one, it's 11. On GimKit, I have it for 10:45. So anyone can play until then. And then when the time is up, the game is over, of course. It'll open a report up. If I click the little buttons, it'll show me that there were 7 players. It'll tell me who needs help, who doesn't need help. You could share it to Google Classroom, which is nice. You could just click on it and put it in Classroom. You can put it in Remind. It gives me a chance to end now if I want. It gives you a chance to challenge yourself. It'll tell you who needs help. It doesn't tell exactly what questions, but it just tells you who needs help, who finished and who didn't finish. So yeah, this wasn't bad compared to quizzes. I think quizzes might be a little easier, but this is just, you know, true, false, or multiple choice. There is a way that you can have the questions on your screen at the same time. They say to minimize your screen and then to pull it over and then pull up a new screen. So the kids then would have to be able to toggle the screens. If the teacher's just providing the questions, of course, then the students just need the remote to, or their tablet, keyboard, whatever, to hit their multiple choice or true, false.
Andrea, Michelle wants to know, she says, I don't understand how to set up the questions for the kids.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. So in the top right-hand corner, so if I hit my Kahoot, I'm on Kahoot, it says create. So I can hit I can create a brand new one, or I can use some of the quick templates, like if they have a student self-karaoke, a teacher with slides, a get to know you. I thought that would be cool, like the first day or two of school, you get to know your teacher. So you could use some of the templates and they'll allow you to do that, or you create your own. So creating your own does just that. You type in your question. Well, first of all, you title your Kahoot to whatever you want it to be. So, sorry about the dogs. They're starting to get anxious and wrestle in the kitchen. You can leave this picture up or change it. I'm going to leave it under my Kahoots. I'm going to leave it for everybody just in case somebody wants to use it. The music is limited. It drives me crazy, but I just usually let Kahoot pick it. On the left, you go ahead and add your questions. So it automatically defaulted here to 1. So it gives me, here's the A, B, C, D, or whatever colors there is. If I don't want that, well, it's single select or multiple select. So if there's multiple answers correct, I can use that choice, but I do have to pick. If I want to add a question and I just want it true, false, then when I add the question, I have to pick. Notice they have open-ended, puzzle, poll, slide. They have all those choices, but they all have a leaf on them, which means that's part of the Premier package. If you were to accidentally pick one of those and create a question, it does not, it lets you save it, but it doesn't let it go live because you didn't pay for those. So I found that out last night the hard way. You can upload your own images to anything you want. So if I want the beach ball, if I don't like that and I want to do something from the image library, again, you have to be careful of which images you pick because of those little leaf, but sometimes you don't know it. So like I was scrolling down yesterday and I went to add one, not knowing that it was part of their collection. So this one's saying original, but if I change any of it to these, then it's, I'm okay. But yesterday I didn't know until I saved it and it wouldn't publish. There's a question bank you can use. You can find your own questions if you're looking for something in particular and don't want to make it up. There's also, it allows you to import a spreadsheet that already has their questions and answers on it. So you can set that up ahead of time and then import that. So I thought that was pretty neat that you didn't have to sit there and go question by question, because that's what I would have ended up doing, going question by question. So when you're done and you give them choices, you know, whatever choices you give them, I'm just plugging in answers here. If that's how you want the question, you leave it alone. There it is. You add your next question. So you don't even have to save it. It just automatically saves it for you. And notice it's saying question not complete. And you just keep adding, like I said, you just keep adding questions until you're done. There's a nice preview button here, so you can tell what your questions look like. I guess I didn't complete those questions. It'll do it just, there it goes. So it'll show you what it looks like. So you have a chance to go back and fix it. Shoot. And if you hit the backup button, it'll take you right back to where you were. When you're done, you click done. Notice I have all kinds of errors, so it's telling me I'm just gonna keep it as a draft. So you could start one and not finish it and just keep it as a draft. And notice I have several in drafts. There's also some where you can go through their Kahoots and decide which ones you like and just click on the star. So there's holiday emojis, there's candy, there's vacation, and all this, you could find all these by hitting discover. So what are you learning now? Maybe you're doing nouns. It just takes a lot of time to look up the different quizzes, I will tell you that. So in the long run, if you want to take the time to spend looking all these up, then that's on you. If you rather just hurry up and do the questions, it can be time consuming. Any questions on that?
I don't see any more.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and jump to GimKit. I know on the document I have, they said there's an app, like I said, teacher paste, student paste, whatever you choose. So on GimKit, I pulled this up only because of the students can accumulate prizes. They get like money for doing their quiz in GimKit, and they get to pick different prizes. So while they're working on it, between questions, it says, it allows them to shop between questions. So their choices, like this is for the upgrades, and these are their choices for the upgrade. This $12 amount was the amount I had because I already hit an upgrade. So this is for the power up, and here's the different power ups. And I'm sorry, that one got cut off. I could fix that later. And then the other one was a chance to change their themes, and each theme is a different color, a different setup, a different price. So let me go to GimKit. So it starts out on my page and which ones I've created. Here again, there's an upgrade mode that you could do Pro or Pro Pass. Again, there are monthly fees involved. That's totally up to you how you know, how much you like the assignment or not. Of course, right now, a lot of, you know, districts are getting this for free, but they have a free version. So I was a little confused on that. Again, you have to, they call these kits for every set of questions. They call them kits. So you'd hit a new kit.
Cheryl wants to know if what you're showing is free.
Yes. Yes, I'm not showing you anything that's paid. Mine defaults to English. I believe that was part of the setup choice. It wants you to pick what a subject, whatever language art, English language arts. I'm not sure what the issue is there. So you can click on one of their pictures they have. You can search a photo. You can put in a link for a cover photo. I'm just grabbing one of theirs so I don't have to mess around. So it gives me a choice to add questions, create with flashcards, continue with the Kit Collaborative, or add from Question Bank. Again, they have the import the spreadsheet where you can import their spreadsheet or their template. I believe this one is in Google Classroom, which makes it nice. So it'll allow you to put the question in and the correct answer. And I want to go back to, okay. So if I click play live, I think this only has a few questions so you guys can see what it looks like. So yeah, there's 4 questions in this one. You could do classic mode, which students complete individually. You can do team mode. You know, depending on your class. You can enter your class name. I have a sample class just so I have the sample class because if you're under 13, you can't log in with your Google. If you're over 13, the kids can go ahead and log in with their Google. Each time the game runs, it'll ask you how much starting cash do you want them to start out with? Do you want to allow them to view the correct answer? Do you want music on this? The important things up here are the time, how much time do they have? I mean, they'll let you put as long as you want. I think the least amount of time that they'll go is like 10 minutes. Because if I go back, it defaults. So the race, I believe the least amount you could put in is they can win is $10. Is if not, they'll not stop until they hit $100,000 at a game ends, whichever comes first. So you could put limits just depending on how fast your kids are. All in, all teams have to earn as much money as they can, and there's the limit for the teams. So the power-ups are the where they can shop. They can shop for power-ups. I can choose whether they can shop for power-ups or themes. I said clean power-ups only that don't hurt other players, so I don't want them to be able to take away from other players. So if I hit classic and I click continue. Okay, so if you'd like to go to gimkit.com/play and enter the code. It doesn't play so well on, I tried it on my Android tablet. It doesn't like my Droid tablet. I did find that out.
My Android phone is fine.
What's that?
My Android phone works fine.
Okay, my tablet did not. But my Apple phone did, it did, and the iPad worked.
Do you want to go ahead and click start game? Oh,
Sure.
there's some more people.
Yep, their names just popped up. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. Okay, I went ahead and stopped it because I know we're on limited time. So it gives me a chance to stop it. I can click view report. They can always play it again. Tells you how many questions they answered. And like I said, it'll just keep going and letting you answer them over and over again until you hit the time limit or the money limit. So are there any questions on this?
I don't see any.
Okay. And Tiff, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to let you take over.
And while that's happening, I'm just going to give you a little bit of trivia about the Gimkit. It was actually created by a high school student from Seattle who wanted to create the kind of review game that he wanted to play with the power-ups and et cetera, et cetera. And he ended up making it into a business.
I did see that and I thought that was kind of cool. Take. No.
Okie dokie. So we are going to talk about Edpuzzle, and I know we've already covered Edpuzzle, and there's a recording out there that Rachel did that's fantastic. So in the slideshow, there's just a little getting started with Edpuzzle, and I have a join class if you wanted to do that. If you just take that link, I'm going to take that link and I'm going to put it in the chat box right now. You can join that. It's like a math practice that you can do yourself. But this again is its own website. It's edpuzzle.com. You'd have to go and create an account. It's free. What I really like about this is that you can have the students watch the videos and you get to add the question that you would want. Now, I just want you to know the link that I shared with you guys. If you look, I had set up a class, a practice class, and then it says students. And right now I am the only one in there because I'm the only one that signed up. Once you signed up, you'll be able to see the assignment that I have in there and you'd be able to work through it. But the first thing I would do if I were you is you want to set up your classes. I also just did a really easy sync. You see up here at the top, you have, I'm sorry, I'm trying to change one. You just add a new class and you can see it just gives you the drop down for Google Classroom. So I would just go ahead and click on that and it would take me to all of my Google classes that I may want to add in there. So you just check the box and it syncs all your students in there. So if I went to students for Google certification, it's going to show you all 100 and whatever students I had in there in the class. So you can see that everybody that was in that Google class that I had, they are all actually right here. So that would be my first step because you want to make it easy and you just want to sync it with your Google Classroom. The second thing that you have is don't reinvent the wheel. If there's something that you want to find, you can go ahead out to the curriculum and let's say I'm elementary, I can go out to the elementary school and I can find something that I want to get. So say I'm doing adding fractions. You can see right here, here's adding fractions. A video that somebody already has, there's already questions in here. So I can go in, you can see over here,
we're learning how to add.
I'm sorry, over here, it tells you at what time those questions are in there. And that's what they have to do. But I would definitely play this and listen to this. If this is something that you want, you can hit edit and then you can add your own questions, take the questions out and make it any way that you want. You can see I can just go right here. Here's your questions. Which one of these shows 1/8 and they'd have to answer that. These are all multiple choice over here on the right. You can also add an open-ended question. So if you wanted them to fill something in, you would say, you know, make your own adding a fraction for me and save it. And then they would have to submit that to you. The notes are really neat.
I can't search the web.
The notes are really neat and you can do an audio note. This is where if you have students that have trouble reading, you may want to record the question here verbally so they can click on it and then after the note, you would add a multiple choice question. So they would hear the question in the note, and then the multiple choice question would come up, or open-ended question would come up, and then they could answer it. But you can't add any voice or audio in your multiple choice or your open-ended questions, but you can add it in notes. So again, there is a way to get around that and kind of hack that issue. But once you find you have your video and your questions how you would like, oh, I'm sorry, there's also the voiceover. So if you wanted to add your own voice over whatever's in here, you don't have to actually use the audio from the video. You can use your own audio, you know.
Today we are learning how to add fractions.
And then I would hit start recording and then stop recording when I'm done. And then my voice, you can hear the audio from the video is now gone. And this is my voice that's recording over top of the video. So you could put your own directions on a video that you don't necessarily have to have it from the person who created the video. So if I go back, oops, I play it, hit start recording and then stop recording when I'm done. So that's what would fall into that yellow area instead of the recording that would be on the actual video. When I'm done, I would just hit finish. And when I hit play, there should be an area there where you're going to hear right after that, which is my voice. I can assign this. Once I have it how I want to assign it to my class. You want to give it a due date. So I would give it tomorrow, or I mean Wednesday. You make sure that you have the prevent skipping. I'm going to assign this to my practice class, okay? So any students that are in there, or I can choose which student I want to have it. So if I'm creating this specifically for one of my students that's struggling, I can give them a quiz that other students don't see. And then I would hit assign. One of the things that's nice, oh, there's other people in there. You can go live with this and you can lead them through the quiz. So you can actually go live and you can see share your screen with the students on a projector. It gives you what you're gonna do, and you would do this with everyone, okay? You would wait for the students to come in, they would click on it, and then you would hit start and you would go through the quiz together. You do not have to do it in live mode. If I put these assignments in here, you can see that all of these assignments are going to be out there for the students to do at their own pace. So, but you do have the option, like I said, to go live and to do this with the students in your class. So if you give this to the students and maybe a lot of them don't pass it, you may want to do this live with them and help them out because you see that they're struggling, or you can just pick those individual students that you know are struggling with this and give it again. You can also reset their progress so they have to start all over, and you can give it to them again and have them do it all over again. So if you have students that are failing, you may want to go in and reset. And see, I can reset just one at a time. Or if I decide this is maybe too hard for somebody, I can unassign it from Rachel. I can say, no, Rachel doesn't have to do this one. That's not what I wanted her to do. So it gives you a lot of options and a lot of control as to what you give the students. But again, please don't, I would not turn off the skipping because they'll just turn in nothing. You can download the grades in a spreadsheet, and it will upload into your Google Classroom, or I mean into Progress Book, but there is a lot of steps to that and it's a little bit complicated. So if I were you, I would probably just give them the grade in Google Classroom and just sync it from there. Now I gave this on my, I'm gonna go to my other assignment. I'm sorry, let me go back to my class. I'm going to choose the exponents. Oh, nope, sorry. I'm gonna go to my Google certification. I gave them this exponent. You can see 84 people had answered. So this is what the student looks like, what their score, what their questions were. If they didn't answer, so they never took it. So you can see that never is on here, and I can see the ones that did take it. When I go into the grade book, this is really cool. I see that I have to add a grade. So I need to see, and you can see the number of times the students watched each one, so only one time. So they only watched this whole video one time. So this is 100%, 100%. They missed this one. You can see 100 out of 100. This one, I have to score for him. So I have to go in here and give him a grade and then click the check mark. So anything that's open-ended that you need to score will be gray, and you need to go in and add the grade in there. And you can even send a comment to the students, like, you should have known how to do this one. This is what we did in class. You know, remember the different steps. So you can send comments back to the students as well. But anything that's open-ended, you are going to have to answer for yourself. Or I'm sorry, grade for yourself. And then up here at the top, you can see I can go previous student or I can go to next student. Now, this person didn't do it, so I probably wouldn't go through it that way. I would go back to my grade book, and you can see that this person now has a grade. And anybody that has this blank, this is to be graded, I can click on it and go in and then go down to the gray areas and start to give them a grade. So that's in there. Hey. Sorry about that. So those are a couple things that I like. You also have these really cool popular channels down here at the bottom that are automatically synced with this. So if you have a video on YouTube and you already know what it is, you would just go in and search YouTube. I'm gonna put in fractions. And I would find maybe the video that I wanted on fractions from YouTube, and I can add that in. Now, if I don't know what you know what Crash Course is actually really cool. And it's more for high school kids because the way they talk is a little interesting. But they have all these chemistry and social studies topics that are in here that you can use. See, the Cold War is in here. And I can go and take their video, and I can then add my own questions into their video that they have on here. Now, I have to be aware that this is 13 minutes, so that's kind of long. So again, when I go in and edit this, you can go in, the first thing they ask you to do is to cut it. So if there are sections I want to cut out, I would just drag this little bar and I would cut out whatever I wanted, and I would hit add cut.
Tiffany, Paul wants to know.
Or undo it and take that out.
Sorry. Tiffany,
Yes.
Paul would like to know, do the students get the assignment by logging into Edpuzzle?
If you assign this in the Google Classroom, they're gonna go through Google Classroom and click on login with Google. If you have it set up for practice, I think I had the students join with a code. See, here's my code right here. And that's how they would get into my classroom. So I shared the link with you guys in the box, which already had the classroom code. And that's how these students join the class with their Google information. But you want to make sure that you share this with them, or you share the link with them to join your class. Does that answer your question?
Yep, he says thanks.
Yeah, because I think if you create your own class, they probably wouldn't need to use their school email. They could probably use any email, but if you force them to do it through Google Classroom, they're gonna have to do it. But I do believe that, did it say login with Gmail, I believe?
Yes, mine did.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to have a Gmail no matter what, I believe. And you can see, you can also invite the students. So if I click invite students, see, I can copy this link, or I can create an email and it will go into email, and then I can email this link to those students also. So there's a couple ways. Okay, out we go. You can also, once you have all your students in, you can lock your class. So that way nobody else can get in. I don't know why somebody else would want to get into your class, but maybe if you taught like a first period class and an 8th period class and they were the same, somebody might want to get in your first period class if you were doing the same thing with both sections. And you can see Rachel did the assignment, that she watched it, told me that she watched the assignment, and then I had a part that I had to grade. So of course I have to go in, hit the check mark, and then I can grade her lesson.
Woohoo, I got 50%.
But these will actually take you, especially the Khan Academy videos. Don't try to reinvent the wheel if you don't have to. But if you created a video, you can actually add your own video in here that you created and add it in YouTube. So just for example, if I go out to YouTube and I'm on my videos, and this is something that I wanted them to do
for today.
I'm probably not going to be able to search that if I put it in Edpuzzle because it's really not that popular. If I go back over to YouTube and I put that in, there's my video that I created of content that I wanted them to do. And then they could answer questions going through the video. So you can do add questions and create one with your own content also. Is there any other questions on that? I know that was pretty short and sweet.
Did they ever figure out my, oh, never mind, this is the private question. Did they ever figure out my YouTube? No. Otherwise, no.
Oh, your YouTube account?
I guess Heather's is doing the same thing now.
I'm not sure. So I'll have to check in with John Hopkinson and see if they found a solution to that. So the question is, you save the link on Google Classroom or do you have to assign it each time? I would think that if you're doing an assignment each time, you would want to assign it in your classes. So I mean, they're not going to know that I'm adding another lesson in here if I don't assign it. It's only going to give them the first one that I had. For example, so I'm going to go out, I'm going to go to this practice, and I'm going to go to the adding fractions that I had. Let's go back. Where's my content? My content. So here's the one that I had. And I'm going to assign it, and I'm going to assign it to the Google Classroom. I would want them to know every time that I put one of these out there. And it's going to automatically sync every time. And you can see it's going to ask me right here, post on Google Classroom. So you have to make sure that you turn on post in Google Classroom. And then you're going to hit assign for each assignment. I mean, you can have them join your class in Edpuzzle, but they're not going to get a notification every time you put an assignment out there unless you put it in Google Classroom. Any other questions about Edpuzzle? Trying not to take up too much time and make it short and sweet because there's already a webinar out there.
I don't see any.
Okay. So the last thing that I have on here, and I just thought I would share this with you guys since you guys are doing online learning right now, is that there's a whole concept out there about giving kids badges and that they can earn that are really cool that they can either, you know, put in their email or put someplace else. I mean, right now, you know that when you get an email from me, at the bottom of my email are all of these, and of course they're not going to load right now. Right here are all my badges that I've earned because I'm Google certified and I'm you know this and I'm that, and I want people to know that, you know, I've been to Promethean stuff. So the kids would actually probably be really motivated by that because you're not in the classroom and you can't give them any tangible stickers in the classroom. You may want to start giving them badges for things they're doing in your classroom. Like you could give a badge for all the Google things they do. You could give a badge for completing X amount of homework assignments, I guess. You could give, you know, badges for a number of things that you want to do. I actually have a couple things in here, and a lot of people use themes in their classroom, like Hogwarts. They put the kids into houses, and then how many badges did each house earn, and things like that. The other link I have in here is about levels, and one of the ones that's really good is Be Internet Awesome. So if you go through this Be Internet Awesome, after each level, it gives you a badge, I want to say, that the kids can earn to go to the next level. But you can also give awards and unlock prizes. So if you're actually in the classroom, you can start to manage that. So these are just some ideas to do that. And then I wanted to share with you what we did. The one thing that you have to know is if you think about doing something like this, giving your kids badges, you need to organize. So when the girls and I started working on something, we actually decided each month what were the important things that we thought that teachers would need to know. So each month we gave 3 topics. So you would want to give your students maybe 3 things you want them to learn how to do in a month, whatever those are. And then we created little, they look like badges, and these are just pictures that you can see that I put in here that you could earn after you do each one. We even have like the Google Certified, the Apple Teacher, and inside of these folders, here's what here's what you have to do. So you have to know the standards through Edulastic. So if this would be maybe a certain Flipgrid, can you use Flipgrid? Can you get through it? Did you post a picture? Can you do this? Once your kids get that technology savvy with the Flipgrid, you might have them answer these questions and then they can earn a badge from you. But we kept it very standard, and we used the same template for every single one so the students could work through it. This is definitely something you're going to have to think about before your year, and different things you may want them to know during the year and how you're going to introduce them and when they're going to have to know the concept. But then we also went another step, and I just made this in Google Drawings. So, it's very easy. All the pictures that I have, I stole from the internet. And then each one of these badges, you can see the 3 for September, they're silver, 3 for October are orange, 3 for November are copper, brown you can see, and then we have them at the top. And I actually made physical stickers that people could fit on there also. So if you didn't want to give them a digital sticker, they could actually earn a physical sticker. And all I did was go to Avery.com, and that's how I made my stickers. I know there's one on Google Drawings, so you can kind of learn how to do this out there and create something like that.
Nicole says she wants to earn badges.
I know, right? This is coming, so it's really pretty cool on how it works. There's already districts that already do this, and there's classrooms I've been in that have done this. That's how I saw that one of the teachers had set it up like Hogwarts, and she explained to me there are certain concepts they wanted the students to be able to do by a certain month. And she would make sure that they would have that in there. So if you want the kids to learn how to, multiply improper fractions by October, then there's X amount of assignments they need to do to earn that badge by October. But you would want to set up what that looks like before. You don't want to give them too many, and you want to make sure that you have the ones that are important. So you may only want to have one that they earn a month, or one in math and one in reading. So, oh, you want a webinar just on this? I could do a webinar just on badging.
Yes, there's 2 requests for that. So.
But I just wanted to kind of introduce you to this, and I'm not telling you to reinvent the wheel when you make these 2. There are tons of templates out there, and there's tons of things out there that people will share on how you make it so your students can go through these levels, and then like just on a video game, they can level up and go to the next level. So if you earn 3 math badges, then you get to level up, and you're now a level 2 and not on level 1 anymore. And now you're expected to help all those kids that are on level 1. So there's different ways that you can set up your badges inside your classroom. The last thing that I'm going to say is important that you do is that if you are going to do this, you probably should set up a website. So I'm just going to let you know, I have a website that's already just hidden with just information for people that wanted to go back there. There's the template of what we're doing. This is how you would do it. And then they can see the challenges that they can earn each month. So you want to post this somewhere where they can find it. So when you make all this really cool stuff, because this is going to be some work, and I mean, you could even do this as a grade level. So you can have the classrooms compete against each other. If you have 4 4th grade classes, each classroom would compete against each other to earn these badges for certain things that they can or cannot do. So that's just a peek into badges. Now you're definitely going to want to create a form to remind yourself who earns what badge when. That's the other piece you have to remember, is that you want to kind of make a sheet, or I would fill out a Google form that falls into a spreadsheet so you can see each kid and how many badges that they have. And you can set up your sheet to automatically add them up so you know how many classes have each one. But I know that we're already way over the time, so I don't want to get too much more into that. I will make that another session on here so we can talk more about that.